Yo, what's good people, and welcome back to the channel. If you really want to know how to make trap soul beats like this, and stick around and I'll show you how I manipulated vocals into making this kind of sound. And just before I get into the video, follow my Instagram that's going to be on the page. That really helped me out. So let's go. So the first thing I did was I found these vocals on Splice that sound like this. They're very melodic and give you a lot of space to work with, and that's really what you need. And all I did was pitch it down 12 semitones. And the effects I used on that were a little alter boy just to give it a little bit more of a higher frequency. I used this micro shift just to as a chorus, and it just thins it out a little bit and gives you like a little bit of manipulation of the sound. Then I use this classic plate, quite high decay time, just to give it a really spatial sound. Then I use this timeless Fab Filter chorus preset that just modulates it and gives it that really airy, nice sound. And then I used a really minimal delay just to make it spatial in certain areas that you can't really hear, but it gives it just a little bit more of a texture and feel. Then most people would throw in like a low pass filter just to get rid of them high frequencies, so it sounds like not muddy, but as if it's like underwater, like an underwater effect. But I didn't want to use that effect. I felt it doesn't work as good, so I used a downsampler and just downsampled it to 8K, and then from 8K to 20K every single frequency is gone and the sample rate is changed, so it gives it a nice effect that sounds like this. It really manipulates that sound nicely and gives it like that really trap soul type of vocal vibe. Then after that I threw on even more processing because I needed to process before to give it a little bit of a different sound, then process after just to give it a manipulated sound and bring out the brightness back into the vocals. I just took out some lows because I'd never took any lows out in the first place. I used this phaser just to modulate it and give it a little bit of a washed effect, but I only did it halfway through the second bars. Then I used a tiny reverb just to give it a little bit more air. And then a 1/8 delay just to fill in them blank gaps that I felt like this vocal could really be present in and just give it that nice effect. Then I used automation on that mix of the delay just to go up as it faded out, just so the ends of the bars had just a cool echo effect. Then I used another chorus to just make it a little bit more thinner and give it a little bit more air because of more processing. And then I used a flanger to just give it a little bit more depth. Then I got the vocal again and pitched it up 1 octave, and then I reversed it, and then I added even more processing, so I added another reverb just to really make it airy and spatial. Then I used quite a heavy delay because I wanted this to pan and give it a cool texture, and then just took out some of the mud from too much of the delay. This is how the vocals sound. So as you can hear, it gives it a nice rhythm and just gives it that trap soul sort of vibe. Then I used this piano, just strummed it a little bit and just give it some accent keys at the end just to ride off the vocals, and it sounds like this. Then with that, a reels, just a reverb, not too much because the vocals were quite airy in reverb, so I didn't want it to clash too much. Used a tiny bit of phaser just to give it a little bit more of a modulated effect, and then just a delay. Then I added this bass on the root notes, but I didn't add any effects on it. And I added that bass to just fill the low end because there was hardly any. And then I used this pad sound to just give it a cool texture in the background. Then with that pad I had this chorus cassette. I room reverb just to make it a little bit dense and boxy, and just took out some lows. And then I made a send track on that. So I send the pad to this, used Portal to give it like a reverse tweak effect, give it a cool texture in the background, and just give it a little bit more rhythm. Then I used a phaser on top of that just to manipulate the like reverse effect. Then I used another piano just to give it a downfalling effect on the chords. It sounds like this. Then I wanted this to be like an accent and sit in the background a lot, so I spaced it out so it was more of like a pad sort of effect. And then this is the sample altogether. Then now let's look at the drums. So I started with this hi-hat. Then next the snare, and then the kick, then I added extra percussions and another hi-hat but really minimal, so it sounds like this all together. And this is how the whole beat sounds. So yeah, that's the whole beat together. I think it came out amazing. If you liked it, know what to do. Subscribe, follow my Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace.